Regardless, what we will see gives off an impression of being completely valid. Bitcoin went down from 38,000 US dollars, yet as of now it is apparently making a guide to address this. Yet again as of late, the protections trade went down. We are as of now at around 36,000 US dollars. It appears like there is only a bit of progress in the expense. Expecting that we look in any event in most raised spots of the worth, what is the principal Fibonacci extent, this will be our excellent spot, here. Other than that, when we look at the expense and how much trading that happened, it seems like there is a response at the cheaper reach. Besides, we furthermore disposed of a money to keep adequate cash open. In this way, we were trading around an assist district the neighborhood with showcasing. At this point, we are seeing a slight vertical turn of events. Be that as it may, could Bitcoin at any point stay at this level of help for the accompanying 2 or 3 hours? Besides, might it any time at some point progress forward up significantly more? This second, everyone is seeing close to see what others are doing keeping watch. To be sure, we are seeing a couple of signs that the market is going up. At the present time, the Bitcoin frames show that there is a lot of strain to sell keeping watch. This infers that people are selling Bitcoin. Regardless, the expense of Bitcoin is at this point higher than beforehand. On September 14th, I posted a tweet on Twitter communicating that there is a lot of development with Bitcoin on the CVD marker. People are endeavoring to buy a ton anyway are not compelling. Nevertheless, in this current situation, we have a negative contrast. One more high point was being made on the CVD marker. Bitcoin was making a lower high beforehand, but by it's doing the converse. We are seeing more people getting Bitcoin, but the CVD pointer is showing an uncommon disappointment. This sign is terrible for Bitcoin. It's a reprimand that the expense of Bitcoin could go down. We are seeing the converse, which is actually a nice sign at the expense of Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it's not commonly so exceptionally normal as you would normally think. On September 14th, when I posted this, it was a horrendous sign at the expense of Bitcoin. In any case, we have seen a significant development in the expense of Bitcoin. Expecting that we look at the frameworks, we can see that it happened at a specific time. Bitcoin progressed forward up fundamentally more. In the other heading, we are at present seeing a lot of buying and positive development keeping watch. Unfortunately, we can't just accept this data and say Bitcoin will go far up considering the way that there's new development data not far off. As of now what we can expect to see is a significant downfall from 3.7% becomes around 3. In any case, in the accompanying several numbers, we will sort out what the authentic data shows. Expecting Bitcoin progresses forward up, it looks brilliant because a couple of particular pointers show that it's most likely going to progress forward up. However, there is another critical thing that I really want to tell you. Envision a situation in which the signs that the expense will go up are not right, and it truly progresses forward down and traverses our resistance levels. Expecting we look at the chart for an hour, I let you in on yesterday that this might be solid areas for a watching out. I think we overall agree that this cost advancement looks very helpful. If we make a guess as of now, the most imperative point for Bitcoin has been reached. Later in the video, I will tell you that hypothesizing isn't the best decision for trading. Regardless, if we say that Bitcoin has shown up at its most raised point, we may basically be examining a little reducing, not a huge drop. We just sorted out we were excused at comparable level we started from. In any case, for the present, we ought to analyze the justification for why this negative situation is correct now possible, yet at the equivalent not likely. OK, Bitcoin has been reliably trading at the 37,000 locale, and in the present Bitcoin cost figure video, we'll examine the reason why critical worth improvements can be expected sooner rather than later, considering the way that not simply we are seeing some insane bullish maintenance, yet moreover a brand new extension report will go live. Anyway, what we, in particular, will see, it really is by all accounts that, after an excusal at 38,000 USD district, without a doubt, Bitcoin got a basic push towards drawback. At this point from there on out, we are simply outlining a healing illustration or some likeness thereof, fundamentally looking on the 2-hourly time span. As of late, we got another push towards downside. Towards 36,000 US dollars, where it really appears like we are right currently seeing a little reaction since, in such a case that we go from our swing low back to our swing high. What is the fundamental Fibonacci extent? It is truly going to be our splendid pocket, which was unequivocally at this specific district. Likewise, assessing the entire upper expense movement with the volume, it really appears like we are seeing a reaction at the value locale low. Furthermore, what's more, we similarly took out specific lows for liquidity purposes. In this manner, we were trading at a local help district or the like. Besides, this second we are seeing a small turnaround towards the expected increase. Clearly, the request is Bitcoin going to have the choice to hold our area of help for the accompanying a few hours here? Likewise, truly continue with its way essentially higher towards the reverse considering the way that the truth is paying as of now, very close mindfulness in regards to what others are doing watching out that it genuinely is by all accounts that. Without a doubt, we are seeing a couple of bullish signs happening right. As of now in the Bitcoin frames, our CVD pointer, which is assessing if the exchanging pressure is coming watching out, we are seeing a gigantic push towards downside, which right at present suggests selling pressure is coming clearly in the market while Bitcoin is at this point outlining a higher low or the like. By and by, on Twitter, on 14th of September, I posted a very captivating tweet, which truly said enormous maintenance on Bitcoin is at this point happening on the CVD pointer. People are basically buying especially pointlessly. In any case, for this present circumstance here, we got a negative distinction. Totally new higher high was molding on the CVD marker. While Bitcoin was molding a lower high at present for this present circumstance that we are seeing right now, it is from a genuine perspective very surprising. We are seeing a higher credit Bitcoin, but a perfect lower low on the CVD marker. So in case this here was a negative sign for Bitcoin was a full alert for the Bitcoin esteem itself as of the current second that we are seeing completely unique, which is truly going to be a bullish sign for the Bitcoin esteem itself. Anyway, it isn't exactly so particularly essential as you would normally think, unfortunately, in light of the fact that on 14th of September, when I posted this, without a doubt, it was a colossal negative sign for the Bitcoin esteem itself. Regardless, we have gotten a tremendous direct in the Bitcoin esteem itself since, assuming that we go right now, for example, on the 4-hour time frame and see when this was truly happening, it was genuinely happening generally at this specific district, Bitcoin essentially continued with fundamentally higher. Towards the reverse. So what do I have to say with this? For sure, it is by all accounts that we are seeing right now the solicitation stream that is coming in the market definitely and bullish. Nevertheless, sadly, we can't simply erratically accept this specific data and say Bitcoin is right presently going to see a psycho guide towards the expected addition, especially in light of the fact that in the looming hours, brand new development report or CPI data will be revealed. By and by. What we can see that it is truly expected will be a colossal drop from 3.7% to about 3%. Clearly, in the impending numbers, we will see all that the certifiable data will tell us. Besides, if Bitcoin is truly going to continue with its way towards the opposite, considering the way that, as referred to beforehand, a piece of the technicals, especially the solicitation stream here is looking exceptionally bullish and very nice. However, another essential thing that I might want to confer to you is truly going to be. Envision a situation where this bullish signs here won't work out and we are truly going to continue with our way even lower towards disservice to break our specific assistance districts. Since, in such a case that we go for example on the 1-hour time span, as of late I recently let you in on that this here can be an inspiration or the like. Besides, I figure we can all agree this specific expense action looks extremely supportive. So accepting we right at present construe that the top for Bitcoin is in. Clearly, later in the video, I will tell you that, clearly, hypothesizing isn't precisely going to be the best decision concerning trading. Notwithstanding, regardless, if we right presently say that the top for Bitcoin is in, we can be examining a medicinal part, the extremely unambiguous district or the like. Similarly understanding that we got an excusal, from a genuine perspective unequivocally retracement level. Be that as it may, regardless, the current second, we ought to examine the reason why this negative circumstance as of the current second, it is conceivable, yet at the present time, not precisely a probability. How is it that I could jump at the chance to examine a potential 5-wave cost structure towards burden simply because the vol regardless, what we will see gives off an impression. From there on out, we have been seeing close to no trading activity on the Bybit and Coinbase graphs throughout the span of the last hour, 2 hours, and 4 hours. For instance, the amount Bitcoin being traded the latest 2 or 3 days is nearly nothing. It could be said it is going down. Alright, clearly, we should be ready for Bitcoin to go up, which I accept is to some degree more sensible. Nonetheless, we also ought to be prepared if Bitcoin stops going up and starts going down again. Hence I really want to form and edify you. What is the accompanying expense objective we need to reach? Accepting we finished our most essential wave and second wave, we can use Fibonacci levels to anticipate the accompanying expense target. We look at the high and discouraged spots of the second wave to figure it out. Nevertheless, we finished our second Alnut wave at a cost of around $37,600 expecting that happens, we should zero in on our 1.618 Fibonacci extension level is at around $33,400. I figure this target may be arrived at in case our CPI data is tremendously horrible and expecting the Bitcoin cost drops a ton, maybe soon that in case that happens, and our critical assistance locales are broken, I would concur that one. We need to zero in on the 618 Fibonacci development level at an expense of $33,400. From my perspective, it's not likely that the expense will go up basically, but we should regardless be prepared if the extension report is out and out horrible. As of now, could we look at a couple of signs that show the market is presumably going to go up? Could we inspect our confident assumption at the expense of Bitcoin? As of now, we can see a significant or for the most part brilliant reaction happening at the gold Fibonacci extent district. Anyway, that isn't all. As I referred to in my past accounts, remarkable moving midpoints can be used on different time spans like an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, and, shockingly, ordinary, the present moment, the market is doing generally around well and going up. Moreover, expecting you look at the RSI pointer on the 1 hour time span for Bitcoin, it's showing that there is a higher low and a lower low outlining. Several hours earlier, there was even a mysterious bullish disparity. Predictably, there is a stretch of time, and at ordinary spans, there is in like manner a time span. They are both the very same thing. The expense of Bitcoin is making little drops and a short time later fairly higher drops. This is making a model that shows the expense could go up soon. For sure, as referred to 2 or 3 days earlier, we see a negative model on the regular chart. Besides, overall there are no tremendous signs of a rut that we experienced a significant setback in regard with a lot of trading development. In this way, consequently, I really want to say that accepting Bitcoin goes up, the chief degree of obstacle it could face is the splendid Fibonacci extent. Using the gold Fibonacci extent on our chart, we start from the high point and drop down to the discouraged spot. You will see that there is significant solid areas for an at definitively $37,400 and from there on out we are seeing unquestionably low volume on the 1 hourly, on the 2 hourly, on the 4 hour time span, on the Bybit chart here, yet furthermore we can go with a Coinbase diagram. For example, the volume for Bitcoin in the new days is extremely low. It could be said it is decreasing towards the detriment. So, clearly, not simply we should be prepared for more expected gain, which from my perspective, it is to some degree more plausible, yet likewise think about how conceivable it is that Bitcoin completed out at this specific district and we will imprudently continue with even lower. To that end I want to make and bestow to you. What will be our next fundamental expense target, expecting we right presently say that we completed our most critical rash part wave here, and we got moreover our resulting part wave. Clearly, what is the accompanying expense target? All we want to do, we go with our Fibonacci development levels from our swing high, back to our swing low, back towards the completion of our ensuing part wave. We could talk about when this second Alnet wave truly finished, in case it was genuinely at this specific area, or maybe at this specific locale, or maybe if it's not even finished as of the current second, and we will see another push towards the reverse. Notwithstanding, we ought to just say that we finished our second Alnet wave around at 37,600 USD, taking everything into account, we truly need to zero in on our 1.618 Fibonacci extension level, which will be at around 33,400 US dollars. So I would concur that this specific goal will turn out to be potentially the main component, gave that right now our CPI data will be extremely negative, and we are truly going to see a tremendous reaction in the Bitcoin esteem itself, and we are really going to see a basic drop, maybe in the impending hours, accepting that will be what is happening, expecting our basic assist areas here will with being broken. Clearly, I would concur that 1.618 Fibonacci extension level is a fundamental expense center for us to concentrate around at 33,400 US dollars, but as referred to beforehand, somewhat from my perspective, it isn't strangely coherent that we will see a basic push towards NASA, yet as referred to beforehand, we should be organized considering the way that think about how conceivable it is that development report here will be exceptionally negative. By and by, we ought to talk about additional bullish signs. We ought to talk about what will be what is happening for the Bitcoin esteem itself. We know right now that we are seeing a basic reaction, or actually an outstandingly lovely reaction, unequivocally at the gold Fibonacci extent locale here. Nonetheless, in addition to that, as referred to right now in my past accounts, emotional moving midpoints on the 1 hourly, on the 2 hourly, on the 4 hourly time span, even on the everyday time span right now looking extremely bullish, we are in an upswing. In addition to that, if you will go, for example with the RSI marker, assume on the 1 hour time span, Bitcoin is molding a higher low RSI sparkling clean, lower low, and we were even at the oversight district a few hours earlier, concealed, bullish uniqueness 0.2 hourly time span, for hourly stretch of time, exactly the same thing. Lower low, higher low on the Bitcoin esteem itself, hidden away bullish divergences are right presently being molded on adjacent term stretches of time. Without a doubt, as right now referred to similarly a few days earlier, on the everyday time span, we are outlining negative contrast here, but as referred to, locally talking, we are at this point not precisely seeing any significant negative signs, simply that we have gotten a gigantic excusal towards the likely increase on a truly high volume. Consequently, thus, I could truly need to say that expecting Bitcoin does see and happen as it's would like towards the possible addition, our area, or really our most significant neighborhood check is again going to be splendid Fibonacci extent. From the high back to our low, applying only the gold Fibonacci extent on our layout. You can see the local resistance will come up unequivocally at 37,400 US dollars, changing flawlessly with our past highs for liquidity purposes. Furthermore, what's more, in like manner assessing the entire upper expense movement with volume,